I like the dog. It's friendly.
Well, hello, and welcome back to my channel Box Office Poison. If you're new here, my name is Moxie McMurder, and before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the video, I'd like to give a shout out to Thea, who was kind enough to help support my channel by buying me a coffee. Thea, your support and kindness has not gone unnoticed. You are a legend. If you'd like to support my channel and receive a shout out in my next video, I'll leave a link to my Ko-fi account in the description box below. It's easy to use and it really is a big help. Victim is a drama from 1961 starring Dirk Bogarde as a lawyer who, having been photographed in a compromising position with a young man, risks his reputation to find out who's behind a blackmail ring targeting gay men. Quick shout out to Mambo Monkey for recommending this film. It would make an excellent double bill with Servant, which I covered in a video last year. So go check that out, because Servant is actually one of the best films that I watched last year. Directed by Basil Dearden and written by Janet Green and John McCormick, Victim is a drama based on a very real fear at the time, that of being outed as a homosexual. And what makes Victim such a landmark in cinema history is that it's the first English language film to actually use the word homosexual.
Is this the gay episode? Mm-hmm. I've been training my whole life for this.
Thanks to the Hays Code, films had to skirt around the subject of LGBTQ characters.
Because of the implication.
It was always implied and never directly mentioned, and the implication became a trope. If your character was gay, you were a sissy or a villain. No nuance, no explicit relationships, it was all very repressed. In Victim, we get to see the humanity of the characters as they face the fact that someone out there could destroy their lives with just one word. But Victim is more than just the first time we hear a certain word on the silver screen. Victim is unusual and groundbreaking with its sympathetic narrative. It may have problematic elements within the script by today's standards, but for the time, Victim is unapologetically queer.
All right, you want to know. I shall tell you. You won't be content until you know, will you? Till you ripped it out of me. I stopped seeing him because I wanted him. Do you understand? Because I wanted him!
Bogarde gives a great performance, as does everyone else in the film, and it goes to lengths to show gay men outside of their usual stereotypes. There are no sissies here, no jokes at anyone's expense. This film shows us a mix of attitudes towards the men in the story, and it's crafted so well, we don't even notice an enemy who's hiding in plain sight. In the UK in the 1960s, homosexuality was illegal, and blackmail of gay men an increasing problem. After the Second World War, there was a sharp increase in arrests and prosecutions of gay men. By 1954, the number of men imprisoned for homosexual acts had risen to over 1,000 a year, which led to calls for an inquiry into the legality of homosexuality. The Wolfenden Report, named after its chairman John Wolfenden, in 1957 was a committee of 11 men and 4 women from various professional backgrounds, like MPs, lawyers and teachers. The committee recommended that homosexual behaviour between consenting adults in private should no longer be a criminal offence. The recommended age of consent was 21 years, despite the fact that the age of consent for heterosexuals was 16. But it was a step forward all the same on a slow journey to equality, or at least something that looked like equality. After reading the Wolfenden Report, screenwriter Janet Green, who knew several high-profile gay men who had been prosecuted, became a supporter of homosexual law reform. She wrote the screenplay with her husband John McCormick, and when the film was released, it was controversial, but the film is often acknowledged as being partly responsible for public attitudes shifting towards a more progressive stance. As I've mentioned in previous videos, the UK has a horrible history of classism, and Victim showed that people in all classes were being targeted. The average working class man was a target of blackmailers. It wasn't just your somewhat stereotypical closeted elites and aristocracy. The film's producer, Michael Ralph, is quoted as saying his primary aim with the film was to show that homosexuality may be found in otherwise completely responsible citizens in every strata of society. And along with Basil Dearden, acknowledged that the film was designed to be an open protest against Britain's law that being a homosexual is a criminal act. Many scenes in the film were shot in a real pub called the Salisbury. According to Wikipedia, this Victorian pub was a famous gay pub for decades, especially popular with actors. Until the brewery installed a new management team in the early 80s and it was turned into a tourist pub and ceased to be gay-friendly. Dirk Bogarde, the idol of the Odeons, who was himself a closeted gay man, took on the role after stars of the time including James Mason and Jack Hawkins turned it down for fear it would hurt their career. Bogarde also had to appear older, his boyish features hidden under thick makeup and greying wigs. Victim was the wisest decision I ever made in my cinematic life, Bogarde later said. It is extraordinary to believe that this modest film could ever have been considered courageous, daring, or dangerous to make. It was, in its time, all three. Victim is available to watch on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and ITVX, whatever that is, and I definitely recommend you check it out. Hi, Stinker. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. If you really enjoy my videos and would like to help support my channel further, you can buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description box below, and all caffeine hits are gratefully received. Don't forget to drink more water, be kind to your pets, rise above your enemies, and stay spooky.